Right now, I'm going to take a big old dump on the ground, and then I'm going to throw it at you.
I never get sick of beef enchiladas.
In this world, cesspool of kindness and ethical blindness. So please excuse my sarcastic tone. I'm a bit underwhelmed by the sample shown. Mr. Piss-drunk fraternity guy, you got my asshole bloodshot eyes. Get drunk and fight every night. Idolize Bradley, belittle women's rights. Homophobic, racist, and don't give a fucking hey. Do you think you can drive a bigger truck? So wear your baseball cap to decide to let everyone know that you're a nice guy. So cool, was so impressed. Lots of chicks in a barrel chest. Cause you're a real man. Punch for punch, gonna piss in your face while you're passed out drunk. I'm a nice guy, you're a nice guy. He's a nice guy, but all of you are assholes. I'm a nice guy, you're a nice guy. She's a nice guy, but all of you are assholes. Nice guys rule the planets. I just can't understand it. How could divine by deception and lies? Social Darwinism and an overdose of pride. Fuck off, Sherlock! I don't wanna hear it. Fuck off, Sherlock! Read into the lyrics, cause everybody gets their just desserts. As long as you remember that nice guys finish first. You're next on the list. Such a nice guy who speaks through his fists. Prick with a penchant for messing with heads. A broken nose for dinner and breakfast in bed. Alcoholic, paranoid, and suicidal too. But you'll probably kill her before she gets away from you. She lives in a pool, letting cry. All your friends say that you're a nice guy. Have a drink, this one's on me. Look, you're doing fine, losing to your disease. Comatose, I'll pack your bags. Bury you like cats ready to gag. I'm a nice guy, you're a nice guy. We're all nice guys, but all of you are assholes. He's a nice guy, she's a nice guy. Hey, Tom Bone's a nice guy. All of you are assholes. Nice guys rule the planet. The public demented. Put a body by deception and lies. Social Darwinism and an overdose of pride. Fuck off, Sherlock! I don't wanna hear it. Fuck off, Sherlock! Read into the lyrics, so let the buddies will quench your thirst. As long as you remember that nice guys finish first.
Hey everybody, welcome podcast listeners, welcome live listeners and live viewers. This is the Plex. We do the show live every Sunday, 7 p.m. Pacific, twitch.tv/Echoplex Media. You can support this project in a multitude of ways. You can go to echoplexmedia.com, click the support link at the top of the website, and it will give you options. I suggest buying a hat. I'm producer Dave. You can follow me on fucking Blue Sky at Plex-Dave. And as we enter the new year, I am just here to remind you of one very important thing.
Everything's fine, and everything's fine, and it's great. Thanks. Everything's fine, and everything's fine, and it's great. Thanks. Everything's fine, and everything's fine, and it's great. Thanks. Everything traffic, the time, and the news. How's your commute? What do you do? Sorry I'm late, I kept hitting snooze. It's just one of those days. You know what they say. It is what it is. Ignorance is bliss. When it rains, it pours. Couldn't ask for more. What goes around comes around, all in good time. I guess that your guess is as good as mine. Everything's fine and everything's fine and it's great. Thanks. Everything's fine and everything's fine and it's great. Thanks. Everything's fine and everything's fine and it's great. Thanks. Everything's fine and everything's fine. I hope you have a real nice day. Everything's fine and everything's fine and it's great. Thanks. Everything's fine and everything's fine and it's great. Thanks. Everything's fine and everything's fine and it's great. Thanks. Everything's fine and everything's fine. I hope you have a real nice day.
All right, so usually around the holidays, the news is really slow, but this time there's a lot of shit that went on, and it's probably going to be long. long. Thanks to everybody in the Discord for helping me put together the docket, as always. First up, we have, I guess, Happy New Year from Mar-a-Lago.
Than anybody would have thought possible. We have a lot of leaders here, great leaders like Tom Emmer. I watch him on television. He was talking about Somalia today. Where's Tom? He was talking about the Somalian population, and not very nicely. He was not nice, but that's okay. It isn't mine. Where is Tom? Right here. He's great. What a great leader he is. We need you in Minnesota. We need you in Minnesota. He's actually in Washington. Big, powerful congressman, but you did a great job today, Tom. Thank you very much. We all appreciate it because we want to take back our country. Can you imagine? They stole $18 billion. That's just what we're learning about. That's peanuts. In California is worse, Illinois is worse, and sadly New York is worse. A lot of other places. So we're going to get to the bottom of all of it. It was a giant scam. Other than that, we're going to have a great New Year.
Yeah, fucking Happy New Year from Mar-a-Lago, everybody. This dude just cannot he just can't even just try to throw a New Year's party for his friends. He just can't really do it without just spewing bigotry and fucking dumb fuckery. Here's more from that event. Not the best place to be on New Year's, I don't think.
We're back. We're strong. I didn't think it could happen this fast. It's happening a lot faster than anybody would have thought possible. We have a lot of leaders here, great leaders like Tom Emmer. I watch him on television. He was talking about...
if you're listening on the podcast, you can tell this is a live show. That's the same fucking clip, isn't it? So here we got another one. Sorry about that, everybody. This one is... oh, no. Oh, yeah, he was auctioning off fucking paintings and shit. People were like saying it was for charity, but I think the money's going to be for himself.
So we're going to auction it off, and I'll start at $100,000, okay? And honestly, just, if you want, but I actually think it's worth much more than that. And she's the hottest. How much? Who is that? Oh, Anthony. The man started off with one truck. He ended up selling his company for $4 billion. He had 5,000 trucks. How long did it take you to make $4 billion, Anthony? About 50 years? So 250,000 spirits. That's great. Anthony, we love you. How much? 300,000. Thank you very much. 500,000. Oh, you're a good artist. 500,000. Hussein. What? 550, Hussein, thank you very much. 650, thank you very much. Mr. Wordine. What? 1 million, whoa. He's the biggest guy on Wall Street, so it's peanuts. the biggest guy on Wall Street. Don't let that red hat fool you. He wears that so that he sort of takes people by surprise before he plucks the money out of their wallets, right? So anyway, thank you very much. 1 million. 2 million? 2 million. Whoa. 2 million.
That's wild. I think people are just there fucking bribing the president. I mean, I feel like, in fact, I don't feel like I'm like as sure as I can be that people are just there bribing the president. So this is how, I guess this is the highlight of that event. Oh man, how the fucking mighty have fallen or whatever. Here's Vanilla Ice. And Ice Baby, I guess under the current circumstances has like a whole new fucking meaning. But here's some ghouls dancing to Ice Baby. Also, I'm not a big fan of the new remix of it. On the flip side of New Year's messages, this is the mayor-elect of New York City, Zoran Mamdani, with I would say probably a much better overall set of ideas and just things regarding New Year's.
Some will be voters from Hillside Avenue or Fordham Road who supported President Trump a year before they voted for me, tired of being failed by their party's establishment. The majority will not use the language that we often expect from those who wield influence. I welcome the change. For too long, those fluent in the good grammar of civility have deployed decorum to mask agendas of cruelty. Many of these people have been betrayed by the established order. But in our administration, their needs will be met. Their hopes and dreams and interests will be reflected transparently in government. They will shape our future. And if for too long these communities have existed as distinct from one another, we will draw this city closer together. We will replace the frigidity of rugged individualism with the warmth of collectivism. If our...
Oh, dude, right there, he probably pissed off so many fucking people by fucking shitting on their fucking fake-ass rugged individualism. Boy, howdy did he piss off some fucking people there. We have a couple more clips of that speech. Here's him talking about how basically action is what's going to change people's minds if they like disagree with him or whatever. Pretty good talking points here.
I know there are some who view this administration with distrust or disdain, or who see politics as permanently broken. And while only action can change minds, I promise you this: if you are a New Yorker, I am your mayor. Regardless of whether we agree, I will protect you, celebrate with you, mourn alongside you, and never, not for a second, hide from you.
Good on him. Not hiding from people when you're the mayor it's good policy. Up next, we got one more here. This is Bernie swearing in Zoran as the new mayor of New York City. Probably the two most, maybe not the two most popular, but two politicians right now with the highest approval rating in polling.
Please repeat after me. I, Zoran Kwame Mamdani.
I, Zoran Kwame Mamdani.
Do solemnly swear.
That
I will support the Constitution of the United States.
I will support the Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the State of New York.
The Constitution of the State of New York.
And the Charter of the City of New York.
And the Charter of the City of New York.
And that I will faithfully discharge the duties.
And that I will faithfully discharge the duties.
Of the office of the Mayor of the City of New York.
Of the office of the Mayor of the City of New York.
According to the best of my ability.
According to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
So yeah, this was a really good event. I was on Twitter looking at people freaking out about it. Somebody's like, her boots cost $600, and I like it kind of surprised me a little bit because, like, I don't know, there's a lot of people walking around New York City and Manhattan in fucking $600 boots, but also I don't know if you ever had a good fucking, even just a good pair of shoes, that shit'll last you like fucking 2 years. Like, or like a good set of boots. I mean, I know women who've had boots for 20 years. Like, they're goths. They're those knee-high boots or whatever. But some people will hold on to a good set of boots for 20 years. One person, like from New York City, just going to upstate New York for like a weekend away is over $600. So it was just really, really weird listening to people talk about her boots. Like a man wearing a $600 pair of dress shoes, nobody would bat an eye either, because we still live in a pretty sexist fucking country. So this is on CNN's The Source. We have Adam Mockler and Michael Knowles on a panel with some other guy, and they're talking about Zoran Mamdani.
So that's a very progressive agenda. Adam, you grew up in the middle of the country. You know folks in swing states. You know not just the folks on the left who watch networks like CNN. Is that agenda something that will help appeal to swing state voters? Are you worried that that could actually hurt the Democratic Party if that becomes the focus?
I think it depends on how this plays out. A focus on affordability is always going to be good politically. And if we compare it to Trump ran on a lot of populist outside of the box issues, but it didn't really harm people's view of him or make people view him as radical. Zoran also has some outside of the box ideas on affordability, but he's showing up when he needs to. I mean, he spent his first day on the ground talking to people about the problems that they're facing in their unit. So Zoran doesn't have to be perfect or a perfect beacon of liberal policy, but it's refreshing to see someone who's addressing the housing crisis front on, head on. And it seems like Trump agrees. Remember, they met in the White House and Trump said that he and Zoran reportedly agreed on a lot more than expected. And one of those large points of agreement was housing. So maybe they don't agree on the exact policy, but there seems to be an agreement that affordability regarding housing needs to be a focus.
Well, and speaking
well, so that's a fairly reasonable kind of shit libby take, like whatever. Michael Knowles though was also on this panel, and here's what Michael Knowles had to say. He's talking about an affordability of housing. And they're always trying to say, like, the immigrants came and took your minimum wage job, and then they took your fucking single family home right here in the Bay Area. So this is going to play out a little bit here on CNN.
Adam, how do you respond to that?
I think that wealth inequality is a massive problem in New York and across the United States, but wealth inequality isn't being driven by immigration. Wealth inequality is being driven by the richer getting rich and richer due to Trump's policies, due to Republican policies. I think it's really easy to divide Americans and say you should be mad at your immigrant neighbor, but the cost of housing is rising due to wealth inequality, due to the supply, not due to immigration.
No, it's migration.
We should build more housing.
The report says
let me say something about that.
Errol,
the average rent in Manhattan right now is between $3,500 and $5,000 a month. And that's for about maybe 600 square feet. I guarantee you it is not migrants to New York City that are driving the prices that high.
What do you think is?
Well, we have a bifurcated market. We actually have a glut of luxury housing, but there's nobody there to take it. We have a lot of different problems. It really has to do with the cost of insurance. It has to do with the cost of the bureaucracy. Getting projects approved it takes much too long. So getting back to your earlier question, there's been one of the things Mamdani did sign as an executive order creates a task force to try and knock down some of the barriers that make it so expensive to build in New York. We've got to get tens of thousands of units built as quickly as possible. And it's really just a supply and demand question.
And we certainly have those issues here in Southern California
There's a glut
as well.
of luxury housing, but not lower-end housing. So, yes, that is the problem. That's where the migrants are going. That's where the poor New Yorkers need to live.
All right, that's going to have to be the last word.
He was like, oh, no, the luxury housing. It's not the immigrants taking that. It's taking the housing from the regular people. The motherfucker, like, The dude was like, the average apartment is $3,500 to $5,000 for like a 1-bedroom or maybe a big studio, 600 square feet. And the guy's like, oh, it's the immigrants taking up all the low income housing. Motherfucker, there is no low income housing in fucking New York. Oh God. All right. So I hate reporting on this stuff because this is not like where I'm strong as like a presenter or with a body of knowledge, but here's Donald Trump calling Fox and Friends to brag about capturing the leader of Venezuela, Maduro. So, that is sort of where we're at now. Like, acting like, I don't know, it's so weird. It's so weird. Like, it used to be the CIA would just go black bag somebody and nobody would tell you about it, but not with Donald Trump.
So you've had quite a busy evening. Tell us about it.
It was slightly busy, I would say. It was very dark all over, especially in Venezuela. The team did an incredible job. They rehearsed and practiced like nobody's ever seen. And I was told by real military people that there's no other country on earth that can do such a maneuver. If you would have seen what happened, I mean, I watched it literally like I was watching a television show. And if you would have seen the speed, the violence, they say that, the speed, the violence, they use that term. It's it was an amazing thing, an amazing job that these people did. There's nobody else could have done anything like it.
You're at Mar-a-Lago right now. How were you able to watch this?
Well, we watched it from a room. We had a room, and we watched it, and we watched every aspect of it. We were surrounded by lots of people, including generals, and they knew everything that was happening, and it was very complex, extremely complex, the whole maneuver, the landings, the number of aircraft, which were a massive number, the number of helicopters, a different type of helicopters, different type of fighter jets. We had a fighter jet for every possible situation. And they just broke in, and they broke into places that were not really able to be broke into, with steel doors that were put there for just this reason. And they got taken out in a matter of seconds. I've never seen anything like it, actually.
And you were able to watch this in real time.
Yeah, and don't forget, I've done some pretty good ones in other parts of the world. Okay, I've done some pretty good ones, but I've never seen anything like this. I was able to watch it in real time, and I watched every aspect of it, and I listened to the communication between, where we were in Florida and out in the field in Venezuela. And it was amazing to see the professionalism, the quality of leadership, the professionalism. General Raisin Kane is fantastic. Don't forget, we did another one not so long ago. It was called the knocking out of the Iranian nuclear threat, the nuclear power. And that was unbelievable what they did there. And this is something that, I don't know, it's amazing. And to have a few injuries, but no death on our side is really amazing.
Mr. President.
That's just fucking, like, that is so fucked up. The United States went in to another country and fucking kidnapped their fucking leader. Like, whether you like the other country or not, we're not supposed to do that. Or at least if we do that, it's supposed to be the CIA, and then the CIA would be like, who's Maduro? We're not supposed to do it in the first place, I don't think. But then doing it and then going on to Fox News to fucking brag about it is so fucking crazy. Just so fucking crazy. And here's Trump again on Fox News. Someone called it a kidnapping, and Trump's like, sure. He's like, it's a kidnapping. It's a good word. It's a good word. They don't use it enough. Check this out. Because that's what he did. They went and kidnapped somebody.
It depends on what happens. It depends a little bit on the new administration, if you want to call it.
So if you see that pushback from Rodriguez and ultimately...
Well, I don't think there was pushback. I think that...
She called it...
you hear a different person than I hear.
Really? So you have spoken with her?
We talked to her, yeah.
Oh, you did speak with her?
They've been very good.
Because she called it kidnapping of Maduro.
It's all right. It's not a bad term. Go ahead. No,
Kidnapping, not a bad term. Oh, wow, dude. Wow, like no pretense here, even of like we've gone to liberate. Well, they're going to say that, right? We've gone to liberate the people of Venezuela. In fact, here's a press conference where we're sending in the good guys, friends. Don't worry, we're sending in the good guys. And by the good guys, well, the good guys, it means U.S. oil companies, if you could imagine that. So don't worry, everybody. The U.S. oil companies are going to go in there and fucking take care of everybody.
As everyone knows, the oil business in Venezuela has been a bust, a total bust, for a long period of time. They were pumping almost nothing by comparison to what they could have been pumping and what could have taken place. We're going to have our very large United States oil companies, the biggest anywhere in the world, go in, spend billions of dollars, fix the badly broken infrastructure, the oil infrastructure, and start making money for the country. And we are ready to stage a second and much larger attack if we need to do so. So we were prepared to do a second wave if we needed to do so. We actually assumed that a second wave would be necessary, but now it's probably not.
Yo, dude, they're going to go, what? Yo, dude, this is going to be so fucked up. They're going to go, like, what do you mean you're going to send? They're like, oh, we're not putting any troops on the ground. Motherfucker, you're sending the U.S. oil companies in there? Like, who's going to protect them? Because I'm going to go ahead and assume that the people of Venezuela are not fucking super peachy keen happy with what has just happened. Even those who opposed Maduro probably were like, well, I don't know if you should have come in and kidnapped the guy. And then, like, I'm sure they're really not going to like it when all of a sudden oil companies start propping up, like, basically fucking company towns where they live. I don't think they're going to like any of this. So I don't understand everybody's like, oh, there's not going to be any boots on the ground. And well, yeah, there are if you're sending in U.S. oil companies. I mean, a lot of it'll be private contractors, but that's even worse, actually. Like Eric Prince's company is just going to be out there fucking committing more goddamn war crimes and shit. Man, this is fucked up. Who's running Venezuela now is the question posed to Donald Trump.
The U.S. is going to run Venezuela. So who's in power right now?
Well, we're going to be running it with a group, and we're going to make sure it's run properly. We're going to rebuild the oil infrastructure, which will cost billions of dollars. It'll be paid for by the oil companies directly. They will be reimbursed for what they're doing, but that's going to be paid. And we're going to get the oil flowing the way it should be. As you know, it was just a minor flow. It was actually a minor flow for what they have.
Weak stream.
We're going to run it properly, and we're going to make sure the people of Venezuela are taken care of. We're going
to... Taking care of is doing a lot of work there. I'm telling you, dude, the fucking, there are already people in Venezuela figuring out how they're going to blow up the fucking oil fields, right? Like, there are, like, just because you captured Maduro doesn't mean you necessarily dismantled the entire power structure, essentially. So that's just not great. Don't worry, though. Trump already is actually thinking about who should be the next leader. But I guess he knows who shouldn't be the next leader. I think it's probably because she's a woman, but I don't know enough about this situation.
Aware of the location of opposition leader Machado, and have you been in contact with her?
No, we haven't. No, we haven't.
Mr. President, do you have any hesitations about Machado? Mr. President, on Monday...
Oh, I think it would be very tough for her to be the leader. She doesn't have the support within, or the respect within the country. She's a very nice woman, but she doesn't have the respect to be the leader.
So putting in the opposition leader, actually, I mean, he probably just thinks it's bad because she's a woman, or maybe she's like maybe she's like a leftist as well or something. But putting in the opposition leader is actually a real bad fucking idea. It's not like Trump is smart here, but putting in the opposition leader after you fucking kidnap the leader of a country, that's a real bad fucking idea. I don't know you're not supposed to just go kidnap the fucking leader of the country, actually. So I don't know if you know this, but this is all very different than the drug trafficker that Trump pardoned just a little while ago.
You said that Maduro is responsible for drug trafficking. You recently pardoned the former president of Honduras, who was convicted on many drug trafficking. Can you explain how these two situations are different? And would you ever pardon Maduro?
I endorsed, as you know, the winning president, the man who won in Honduras. I endorsed the man who won in Chile. I endorsed the man who won in Argentina. And we are doing very well with that whole group. What the man that I pardoned was, if you could equate it to us, he was treated like the Biden administration treated a man named Trump. That didn't work out too well for them. This was a man who was persecuted very unfairly. He was the head of the country. He was persecuted very unfairly. And there are a number of them. And we felt that it was a very unfair situation that happened to him. He's also a party member of the man who won. So obviously the people liked what I did. And one of the reasons that was...
So all this is like, if I endorsed you in another country, I'm going to the extent that I can use my power as the president, get your friends off, essentially. Get your friends pardons if they've been convicted of anything here in the U.S. And if you're not somebody I support, I guess we're going to kidnap you?
Because of the fact that the party in power felt very strongly that that man was treated very badly. I studied it very quickly, and then I studied it in great detail. I went to a lot of the people standing behind me, and they felt that that man was persecuted and treated very badly. That's why I gave him a pardon.
You referenced boots on the ground earlier. Can you just sort of button this up? Do you envision the U.S. military...
They're talking about boots on the ground again, and this is all that I bet nobody fucking asks him. Like, well, okay, if we're sending in these oil companies, then how do you just make sure that they're not being, the people of Venezuela, regardless of their political positions, supporters, opposition of Maduro, aren't going to like it if a bunch of U.S. oil companies come in and start taking over their fucking oil fields. People don't like that. It's called plundering, pillaging, plundering. Don't worry though, Venezuela is not alone. I guess there's other countries we're going to do this to. We're going to give everybody freedom. Everybody gets freedom. This is so insane. This is so fucking insane.
But we can't take a chance after having done this incredible thing last night of letting somebody else take over, where we have to do it again. We can do it again too. Nobody can stop us. There's nobody that has the capability that we have. When I watch that war in Russia going on and on and on, and everybody dying, and it's like it's primitive. It's primitive. It's horrible. It's really horrible.
Could you tell it?
Oh my God, the fucking host on Fox laughed at, the people dying. Stupid military can't fucking win a war and people die. Like, nobody can stop us. That's a fucking insane thing to say. That's just like what a bully says to somebody. Oh, you can't stop me. You can't stop me. All of you can't stop me. It's fucking insane. Like, what is going on? I mean, I know what's going on here, but this is fucking insane. Also, not for nothing, does everybody remember? During 2016, Hillary Clinton's going to get us into hella wars. Then in 2020, Joe Biden's going to get us into hella wars. And then in fucking 2024, Kamala Harris is going to get us into hella wars. Anybody remember this? These people were all anti-interventionalist and shit. They're like, oh, Trump's the president that's not going to get us into any wars and shit. It's like, oh, man. Now what? Now you got something to say now, motherfucker? What's up?
Simple.
Mr. President, so Colombian President Gustavo Petro, a couple weeks ago, he said he's got to watch his ass. And today he said he's not concerned about anything happening to him in the aftermath of this operation. So just what your message is about that. Well,
he has cocaine mills. He has factories where he makes cocaine. And yeah, I think I stick by my first statement. He's making cocaine. They're sending it into the United States. So he does have to watch his ass.
Oh, we're going to bomb Colombia now. My God. What about the good old days when the fucking CIA would just fuck around and make a coup happen? I mean, that's bad too. Don't get me wrong, but this is just a little too on the nose. But don't worry, everybody. This is Representative Darrell Issa of California, who is going to get his ass handed to him in the 2026 midterm because of the redistricting. But he's like, we have the opportunity to give the people of Venezuela freedom, because that's what happens every time the United States goes after somebody in the 21st century. They get freedom.
But with this arrest of not just a dictator, but a drug cartel cooperator indicted in New York, we really have the opportunity to give the Venezuelan people an opportunity to have that free and fair election without some strongman taking control. And that's what the president is clearly looking to do, is to get out as quickly as possible. Venezuela is not a nation that needs nation building, but it is a nation in which a free and
But it is a nation where we should blow things up.
Election was snatched by Maduro many years ago.
This isn't. We don't need to build anything up. We're doing what we're gonna do is actually blow shit up. Nation building is bad too, but fucking blowing shit up, I would suggest, is probably worse. If you could do the nation building part. Oh, that's what USAID was doing, actually, was some nation building. And then a more, clearly like a more positive version of nation building. Up next, it's called the Don Rowe Doctrine, not the Monroe Doctrine. This guy's full of gags, full of jokes.
Potentially in league with the cartels operating along our border. All of these actions were in gross violation of the core principles of American foreign policy, dating back more than 2 centuries. And not anymore. All the way back, it dated to the Monroe Doctrines. And the Monroe Doctrine is a big deal. But we've superseded it by a lot. By a real lot. They now call it the Don Rowe Document. I don't know. It's Monroe Doctrine. We sort of forgot about it. It was very important, but we forgot about it. We don't forget about it anymore. Under our night.
We sort of forgot about it, but we don't forget about it anymore. It's the Don Rowe Doctrine. What the fuck? The Monroe Doctrine is really old. Don't worry, though, friends. No nation building. Again, we're going to stress this. No nation building, just nation bombing. This is Marionette Miller Meeks. That's a real name. Marionette Miller Meeks is a GOP representative, and she's going to try to convince you that we're not going to do whatever the fuck nation building is. I can't believe that that's this person's real name.
We've got a lot to do. We don't want to have troops on the ground. Iowans don't want that. Americans don't want that. We do not want nation building. This is not what's going to occur. We've got enough problems to clear up from the Biden administration. So we have work that we're going to do. We're going to continue that work. But Americans, those mothers and fathers who have lost their children to the scourge of fentanyl, and those who have lost family members through gangs with Trinidad and open border policies of the Biden administration, they are safer tonight because of these actions. So,
the everybody's safer. There was fucking. I keep saying this, and fucking, it's like the people in power. They probably know this. Like the fentanyl that's coming in is coming through ports of entry, right? It's coming on container ships, to some extent on aircraft that are bringing cargo into the United States. Because that's a lot easier, because if you can fucking sneak a bunch of fent into a shipment of, I don't know, fucking teddy bears or whatever, and then it gets through customs, that's a lot easier than like sending like random boats to the United States to bring in fentanyl. Like the idea that they're doing that is so stupid. Anyway, up next we got Huckabee pivots to Iran. We're going to go after Iran next, everybody. Are you ready? 4 more wars. 4 more wars.
Trying to build weapons to kill people in other parts of the world rather than build a better life for the Iranian people. So let's hope that nobody has to go in militarily and take down Iran. Maybe the people will do it from within. That'd be the best solution of all. And bring them into a sense of civilization. They once were really the most progressive and extraordinarily culturally advanced part of this part of the whole world. And then after the Ayatollahs came in 1979, they screwed the whole place up.
So they want progressivism for Iran, but but they want the fucking Handmaid's Tale for you, right? They talk about the Middle East and they're like, oh, American, what about the progressive values that they're supposed to be having? All the while they're like trying to Handmaid's Tale you. Like, it's so fucking weird the way they talk about this. Atheists do this a lot too. They're like, oh yeah, well, they'd not throw a trans off a building in Saudi Arabia, but then they like tell you, then like the next thing they're going to talk about is how much they don't fucking like trans people. It's so weird. Anyway, now we're going to ask a question. Who can you trust in the Congress right now? Because you got to trust somebody in Congress, I suppose. And this is the land of misfit anchors, here to talk about it with a guy dressed like he's pretending to be a fighter pilot.
I think Americans in general just want honesty and clarity from their leadership. I think that President Trump mentioned it in his press conference today, right? That there are members of Congress that they just cannot trust. And I understand that, right? We have folks that are Somalia first and not America first. They're not going to be cooperative on things like this. And frankly, there's a number of members of Congress who have and would leak sensitive and classified information that would compromise something like this. And we've got to understand there's a lot of titles and authorities under which these type of operations happen. I think certainly we went after Maduro from a judicial perspective, actually bringing him to justice for the narco-terrorism and the drug trafficking that has killed Americans. But there is also an element of intelligence and national security here that falls under Title 50, which gives the president broad authority.
Oh, this is so funny. Like, oh, actually, we arrested him for breaking the law. Bitch, that's the leader of another country. What law did you arrest him for breaking? Like trying to say that he like broke American drug laws, broke American gun laws and shit. All this weird justification they're trying to do about this is fucking crazy. Also, like broke American gun laws. Like this is the Republican Party. But everybody, don't worry. Don't worry. The president's brain and body are intact. So you don't have to worry about him doing anything stupid, making any kinds of decisions that are crazy or irrational. So don't worry about that stuff.
What a bunch of hogwash to say that this is some kind of things being hidden. He's doing the opposite. He's showing us complete transparency here. And you want the cognitive test, but how about watching him on one of these press conferences where you and I can't even get on the air because he keeps talking in ways that are easy to follow. His brain is clearly intact and his body too.
I'm just amazed at how clearly and easily, like amazed that a fucking, like, oh, come on. Amazed that a president can say a few sentences. Get the fuck out. They're just trying to like go after Biden, right? So to some extent, Biden was getting older and sundowning, and he also does have a speech impediment that he was certainly masking in a lot of cases, and sometimes that probably makes it difficult. I don't know. I'm not like some Joe Biden stan, but the problems with Joe Biden weren't that he sometimes was ineloquent, right? Anyway, here we go. Don't worry. We also have the most cursed possible take from two of the people that you might be a little bit surprised to see together. But also this is about Trump's health and his brain scans.
And then finally, they went on about this CAT scan. And that's where they could have asked some interesting questions, Jeremy. I want to educate you about this. He did not have an MRI. He did not have a CAT scan. He had a coronary calcium score, which is done with a CAT scan machine. I could tell the way they were talking about it. They've not released the information, but the fact that he's on a combo cholesterol medication, very powerful combination, and aspirin means that they found something on the coronary calcium score, which would be very common for his age. I'm going to guess his calcium score is 200 to 400, and that's why they really pushed on the cholesterol-lowering medicine and the aspirin, even though his cholesterol is probably normal. And that's it. That's the
wait. Why? Like, I love that this guy's like diagnosing this motherfucker like based on rumor, innuendo, and just like just like what he thinks is probable.
Because they're so freaking, and that's the word I'm holding back on.
Oh yeah, I don't want to say fuck on this high quality program with the quartering.
So effing ignorant. They don't know how to ask the right questions, and they're making a meal out of skin thinness from sun and leg edema from aging. For God's sakes, what is wrong with journalism?
Dr. Drew, you have the quartering on your show. I don't know if like you're in a fucking place to be asking what's wrong with journalism, dude. Fucking dude, Jeremy, get the whole fuck out of here. So none of this matters. And this is like this stuff. I will say that on Blue Sky, I see a lot of this. They're like trying to examine the fucking bruise on Trump's hand and shit. Fucking straight up fucking blueing on shit, right? Like absolute. The storm is coming. But in this case, the storm is the president's going to drop dead of any number of fucking diseases or whatever one day. I do see that stuff and that's insane, but that's not like journalists, right? That's like random fucking random people who join the blue sky follow train and are following fucking hundreds of thousands of bot accounts and shit. Like that's who's saying that shit, not like journalists. So up next, this whole deposition with Jack Smith, former prosecutor Jack Smith, has been released. We have a clip of it. I don't know if we're ever going to watch the whole thing. We may on Tuesday watch it because we have down ballot Tuesday, but it's close enough to the new year that I don't think the city council meetings are back. So it'll probably be till the 13th before we're able to really do public comment. So we may bring back testimony Tuesday and watch this whole Jack Smith deposition here on stream. But here's a part of it that I thought was interesting.
But it's pretty significant to subpoena the Speaker of the House's toll records, right?
We followed department policy and we followed all legal requirements in getting those records.
I mean, well, to get the information you're looking for, nobody disputed the Speaker and the President were having communications on January 6th. So one way you could have gotten that information is you could have asked the Speaker's lawyer to look at his phone records and to give you the information you needed, right?
Well, you say now that nobody's disputing, but my experience in criminal investigations is that people...
But in a criminal investigation, you're not like, hey, opposing lawyer, what I would like you to do for me as a favor is give me incriminating information about your client. No! That's the shit. Alex Jones got kind of busted for that when they didn't when they're during discovery. Like that's how he got the fucking summary judgment against him, is the discovery wasn't provided. There's like a process for this. You don't just be like, hey, lawyer, incriminate your client for me.
People often at trial dispute things that you never thought were going to be in dispute during the investigation. And so when I conduct a criminal investigation, I don't assume there will be no disputes. Having a record that is a hard record about a time in the timeline of that after.
Imagine being asked this question. You were investigating something as a U.S. attorney. Why did you ask for the information directly? Why did you use the legal process by which you get this information instead of just asking them, would you pretty please? Could you tell me what in there is bad? What's incriminating in there? That's how the legal system should work. It should all be vibes based.
Particularly important because that violence started. The president refused to stop it. He endangered the life of his vice president. Then he's getting calls, and not calls from Democrats, not calls from people he doesn't know, calls from people he trusts, calls from people he relies on, and still refuses to come to the aid of the people at the Capitol. That's very important evidence for criminal intent in our case.
Yeah, that's the dumbest fucking question I've heard. I'm sorry, that might be the dumbest thing we're gonna hear all night tonight, or it's gonna be close. Probably the dumbest thing we're gonna hear in the fucking podcast. Dude was like, "Why didn't you just ask the lawyers, his lawyer, if there was anything incriminating on his phone?" Dude, fucking motherfucker, your defense lawyer. If your defense lawyer says, "Yeah, tons actually," then they get fucking they get disbarred, and you probably sue them for malpractice. What the fuck is that? What the dumb question bullshit? Come on. So there's this other thing that happened that we're not going to really cover, but I do want to show one part of it here. We have a couple clips about it. But here's one of the clips that everybody was like, "Oh, look, they're trying to hide the kids at the daycare. They're trying to hide the kids at the daycare." Well, hide them isn't really the right word so much as not let man showing up unannounced with 6 of his friends and a camera person into the daycare to go look at the children.
We're just wondering where the kids are.
And who are you?
My name's Nick Shirley.
Nick Shirley.
And where are you? Which department? That is harassment.
Oh, we are from ourselves.
Yeah.
Hello, we'd like to ask where the money's going.
Fuck yeah.
Look at that. Shut us down.
Fuck yeah.
No
if my kids were at that daycare, that's exactly what I'd want them to do.
Center right here. No children inside of this daycare center, but between
that's a hallway. They're in a room.
$1 million.
Wait, that was a internal hallway. It's probably set up in such a way that while the kids are in class, to the extent that daycare has classes, I guess it does, preschool or whatever, that you can't just go into a public building and fucking look at the kids. I would imagine there's any number of reasons, probably like fucking state and local regulations around this. Yeah, they're probably in some kind of like rumpus room or like, you know, like a playroom, right? Not in the hallway. They're not just all hanging out in the hallway smoking cigarettes like it's fucking high school. And could you imagine, think for just a second, if like a drag queen went to like a daycare anywhere with a camera crew and was like, I want to see the kids. Think about that for a second. Now, drag queens don't do that, I don't think. I think most people, actually most right-wingers don't do this either, if we're being fucking totally honest here. Most right-wingers don't do this either. This is, that is absolutely fucking for sure, like protocol, possibly laws around like daycare centers where you don't let people in. You're like, oh, I want to look at the kids. You don't let people in. You just don't. Up next, we got Jessica Tarlov on the 5 trying to talk to crazy people about this.
It's going to get incredibly complicated for him, and I'm sure that he and his team are talking about whether he could mount another, you know, I don't want to say challenge because Donald Trump won't be running again, but obviously he's been considering 2028. I think that will...
Or in the chat is like, where's the child viewing room?
Something like this has gone on in your state while you were in office, even if you were not personally involved in it. The program that he was talking about that you referenced, Kellyanne, is school lunches, which I've seen no fraud about that kids go to school and they get lunch as they should. Okay. Yes, school lunch is a good thing. Sometimes breakfast too, even. Nick Shirley's reporting there's no way that this kid walking around uncovered $100 million worth of fraud on his own. There have been tons of people working behind the scenes quietly, including independent local journalists that have been exposing this. I don't know about the veracity of every single thing that he's gone and seen. That's being debated online. But obviously there's a huge problem here. It does Democrats no favors to get partisan about this and to dig in and say, oh, it absolutely couldn't be happening because it's my team that this happened to. The argument that it has not been being covered is ludicrous. People don't want to just do simple Google searches. The biggest story about this came from the New York Times, and it made liberals look terrible. That's where Guy was referencing emails from people who worked at Feeding Our Future saying, we're going to call you a bunch of racists. That was published in the New York Times. It wasn't published in a far-right publication. It was published in the Times itself. And this goes back to the Garland DOJ when they started prosecuting all of this. We'll say, lastly, that fraud should be stamped out everywhere. You should take it seriously. And I'm particularly upset, and I've said this now the third time, that people took COVID money, abused that while folks were dying, while kids weren't allowed to go to school. The country was completely in uproar, rightly so, people scared out of their minds. But Donald Trump and his administration has not taken fraud seriously. You have Philip Esform, who was the healthcare executive, speaking of healthcare, which is part of this, a nursing home mogul, I didn't even know you could be one, orchestrated the largest healthcare fraud scheme in U.S. history, $1.3 billion, commuted by Trump. David Gentile, the private equity guy, $1.6 billion, he defrauded people. Trump commuted his sentence. And then an oldie but a goodie, obviously Trump University, which had to pay $25 million settlement because it was a scam. Do not go out there and say this is all a liberal problem if you don't want to look under the hood of your own car.
Good for her. Like, she's like shit Libby and not, my politics are probably to her left, but she does a pretty good job on Fox News, like talking to these fucking idiots. I mean, like, I don't know if I would be able to like keep my cool with these people, right? I'd be like throwing chairs and shit. Like, my God. Anyway, here we go. This is on Newsmax. I guess they still let Carrie Lake go on Newsmax.
The corruption at my agency, the corruption at agency after agency, and there's not a damn person in handcuffs. Yet they dragged Roger Stone out of his house. They raided Mar-a-Lago. They attacked President Trump.
They did not raid Mar-a-Lago. You don't call before the raid.
When are we going to see some effing handcuffs on some effing criminals in this country? The American people have had it up to here. And we want some people locked up, prosecuted, behind bars for the rest of their lives. We're sick and tired of it.
Yeah, well, I hear you. I feel you. I feel the exact same way. Hopefully every single American watching feels the exact same way. And that is the question. When are the handcuffs going to come out? You know, ironically, Governor Tim Walz, he insists that he worked for years to crack down on the fraud. And to think he was this close, Carrie, this close to becoming our vice president.
Well, liberals did find out, and I don't know enough about this case, but they're saying Somalis. I bet there are a lot of fucking powerful motherfuckers with their hands in that cookie jar, right? Who aren't like Somali immigrants or whatever. I guarantee you there are a lot of hands up in that fucking cookie jar. A fraud, if it's in the billions like this, I'm just guessing I'm guessing there's a lot more people involved, many of whom aren't Somali immigrants, who people aren't talking about because it's not super politically convenient. Up next, Trump wants a rare punishment for Minnesota daycare fraud, whatever that means. Rare punishment.
Welcome back. Right now, Health and Human Services pausing its annual $185 million child care payments to Minnesota because this massive fraud investigation is growing.
But Governor Tim Walz still pointing blame at everyone else, posting, quote, "This is Trump's long game. We've spent years cracking down on fraudsters. It's a serious issue, but this has been his plan all along. He's politicizing the issue to defund programs that help Minnesotans."
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt joining us now. Caroline, thank you for being here. Happy New Year's Eve. Let's jump in right now with Governor Walz blasting President Trump and the Trump administration, saying that this is all about politicizing this massive fraud that keeps growing that we are learning about. You see, that is what you saw from Governor Walz, saying this is Trump's long game. We've spent years cracking down on fraudsters. It's a serious issue, but this has been his plan all along. Your reaction?
Governor Walz is completely incompetent. He always has been, and President Trump has long called him out for his incompetence and his poor leadership in the great state of Minnesota. I want to commend Nick Shirley for his incredible video in Real Journalism that went viral this past week. He epitomizes what new media looks like, and that's exactly why
I'm sorry, but showing up at a daycare center and saying, "Let me and a bunch of my friends look at the kids," isn't journalism. That shit is creepy.
Trump's direction have embraced new media journalists like Nick Shirley. We've welcomed them in to the White House press pool. We invited Nick Shirley to brief the President of the United States at an Antifa roundtable earlier this year. And this fraud in Governor Walz's state in Minnesota is something the Trump administration has been working on since day one. And since Nick Shirley's journalism really brought this issue further to light, we have surged resources across the board to the state. So I want your audience to understand this is a top priority for the administration. The Department of Justice, as we speak, is continuing to execute search warrants and subpoenas. People will be in handcuffs as a result of the fraud that Governor Walz has allowed to occur for many, many years. The Department of Homeland Security is conducting door-to-door investigations on the ground at...
Wait, that's not how you investigate a fucking fraud. You just start knocking on the doors like random people, like door to door. Like, where are you guys going through Somali neighborhoods, knocking on the door, being like, "Hey, you done any fraud?" Wait, door-to-door investigations? Like a door-to-door salesperson?
Potential fraud sites, and they're also, of course, conducting continued deportations of illegal aliens in Minnesota's communities. We're also not afraid to use denaturalization. That's a tool at the President and the Secretary of State's disposal, and it's one this administration has previously used before. I know the Health and Human Services Department has also announced we are cutting off all child care funding to the state of Minnesota until we get to the bottom of this.
I think after this, they cut off all child care funding to the whole fucking country.
The Department of Labor is investigating their unemployment insurance program. The Department of USDA Agriculture Secretary Rollins weeks ago sent a letter to Governor Walz demanding he turn over every single name of SNAP recipients on the books in Minnesota. And the Minnesota.
Wait, what? Wait, hold on. Hold on. Isn't SNAP's a federal program? Or it's federally, like there's federal funding goes into SNAP. The governor doesn't need to turn over that information, I don't think. I think that the Department of Health and Human Services or whoever it is that manages SNAP would have access to that information, I think.
General actually sued the Trump administration for that. What are they hiding? Our entire administration is working around the clock to get to the bottom of it, and President Trump is not going to let Governor Walz off the hook.
So, Caroline, just very quickly to clarify, you covered a lot there, but you mentioned the denaturalization. House Majority Whip Tom Emmer, a congressman from Minnesota, has called for all of the Somalis that are convicted of fraud to have their citizenship revoked.
Wait, no, that violates due process. Hold on, this fucking totally violates due process. The white people that were convicted of fraud in this fraud scheme, there were probably plenty of them. This is Minnesota. There's a lot of white people there. Right? The white people who were convicted of this, we're not going to really do anything that harsh to them. But if you're Somali, boy, howdy, we're going to fucking send you back to Somalia. Maybe you've never even been to Somalia. We're going to send you to fucking Somalia anyway.
Know so far, according to Pam Bondi, that 98 of the people charged, 85 are of Somali descent. Does President Trump want those Somalis to have their citizenship revoked if convicted of fraud?
Absolutely. And it's something the Department of Homeland Security, the Department of State is currently looking at right now. It's something this administration has already done. And we know that there are liberal activist judges across the country who will try to block and tackle this administration.
There are liberal activist judges that are like, wait a minute, this is a U.S. citizen. What do you mean we're just going to send them out of the country? Listen, our justice system is fucked up. But if you're a U.S. citizen and you are convicted of fraud, if you're convicted of fraud by the federal government, they have a place for you. We are not bad at imprisoning people who commit crimes in the United States. This is absurd.
From pursuing justice at every turn, but that's not going to stop the president and his entire cabinet by acting on behalf of law-abiding, tax-paying citizens in the state of Minnesota and in states across the country who have been ripped off by people who abused our immigration system, came to our country, do not love our country or respect our values, and now have been ripped.
Wait, I would say if you come to America, become a citizen, and then defraud poor people, I feel like you are doing a pretty good job of reflecting American values.
Stealing money from law-abiding Americans. This administration is not going to tolerate it. And again, this is a whole of government effort. We've surged resources. As you pointed out, the Department of Justice has already charged and prosecuted nearly 100 people. In fact, some of the buildings and some of the sites that Nick Shirley exposed in that video are under current investigation by the Department of Justice. One of those sites, the Midway building, resulted in 13 defendants already being charged earlier this year under the leadership of our Attorney General and President Trump. So that is definitely going to continue.
Caroline, to wrap up this topic, it's a hot one right now, of course, especially on social media, people following it. We're so happy to hear the pausing of those payments to the child care facilities in Minnesota. We're
so happy to hear the pausing of the payments for people to have daycare.
To sort it out. Are other states on your radar? There's been a lot of rumblings about similar things happening in other states, Ohio also being mentioned. What's next, and what other states are you going to be looking at shortly?
Oh, yes. Right now, Minnesota is at the top of the list, but we know there has been massive fraud in blue states across this country. Look at California, look at New York. These states will all be under investigation and consideration as far as this administration is concerned. And again, just to remind your audience, cutting waste, fraud, and abuse from the federal bureaucracy is something that this president and administration has been focused on from day one. Look at USAID. It was a corrupt program that this administration shut down at the Department of State to save the American.
I don't know that USAID was corrupt. It was like the only way in which it was corrupt. It was oftentimes USAID and foreign aid more broadly was being used as like soft power by U.S. intelligence operations. But I'm not sure that USAID was particularly fraudulent. It's just easy to cut foreign aid because a lot of dumb fucks think that foreign aid is like a huge part of the budget and they hate it.
To stop doing that. And anybody who has been ripping off American taxpayers will be held to the fullest extent of the law as long as this president is in charge.
Caroline.
I don't know, man. I think they're like tipping their hand a little bit here by saying specifically that they want to impose a harsher penalty on like Somalis. They didn't even say whether or not these people are immigrants, just Somalis who are involved in this fraud or whatever. That's kind of tipping their hand and kind of telling us what the intent here is of blowing this up and making it a big story. So If you could imagine, a local news affiliate did some journalism on this, was trying to figure out what was going on, because this was a big story. And what we were being told by Nick Shirley and by the right-wing media machine, it doesn't seem to match the facts on the ground.
There are major developments in Minnesota's fraud crisis, specifically related to childcare. Here's the latest.
We believe the state of Minnesota has allowed scammers and fake daycares to siphon millions of taxpayer dollars over the past decade.
The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services says it's freezing child care funds for Minnesota after a YouTuber claimed to uncover fraudulent centers in a viral video. The state gets about $185 million in federal funds each year. The HHS deputy secretary says he's demanded Minnesota Governor Tim Walz audit those centers featured in the video. The governor responded on X, saying this is Trump's long game. We've spent years cracking down on fraudsters. It's a serious issue, but this has been his plan all along. He's politicizing the issue to defund programs that help Minnesotans. Some of the featured child care centers are firing back. This one says footage from their security camera proves kids were present when the YouTuber stopped by. Our Connor
Yeah, but why didn't you give him direct access to the kids?
There to take a closer look. All new at 10.
You want to make ready for kindergarten.
This is ABC Learning Center in Minneapolis.
They have to learn ABC and numbers.
Director Ahmed Hassan.
See, look, they let the local news in, on the condition that the local news, blurred out the kids, only, didn't blur the director. The local news probably called ahead of time, too, and was like, hey, we heard this story. Would it be okay if we sent a team over there?
A tour after finding his daycare in the national spotlight.
All right, we've arrived to ABC Learning Center.
In a now viral video, right-wing YouTuber Nick Shirley claims nearly a dozen daycare centers in Minnesota are taking public funds but not providing a service.
Why is the door locked? Why are they not? Why is the door locked at this place where they have a bunch of people's children? Friend, that's why the door's locked, because this is a place where a bunch of people's children are.
Is one of them knocking on the door in mid-December.
I would like to check a child in the daycare.
Hassan says his employee didn't respond because Shirley was in a group of about 8 people, and his staff were concerned about recent ICE activity. Is this daycare committing fraud?
No, we're not committing fraud.
Hassan showed us security footage from the same day Shirley was here. According to the timestamps in the videos, this woman takes a young child into the center at around 9 a.m. that day, about 3 hours before Shirley arrives at the door closer to the street. Within the hour after Shirley leaves, a woman arrives at the other door with a stroller. A larger family heads inside a few hours later. Tuesday afternoon, WCCO found at least a dozen children at ABC Learning Center, which is licensed with the state. Records show Minnesota officials last visited the daycare in November, noting some corrected and ongoing violations related to day-to-day operations, but no record of fraud.
What did I do? I'm just a typical human being who wants to live and do the right thing. I have kids to feed.
Umi Hassan, the daycare's current owner, believes these latest fraud accusations are political. Both she and Hassan are Somali Americans.
We pay our taxes. We do whatever we can to be a law-abiding citizen. At the same time, when one Somali does something wrong, we all get collective punishment.
With Shirley's video now approaching 2.3 million views on YouTube alone, they say they are getting non-stop phone calls harassing them.
I was looking for a place for my granddaughter.
With many of those calls attached to out-of-state phone numbers.
They normally say, knock, knock, we're gonna come. You're gonna arrest, something like that.
Hassan says they turned over attendance records to comply with the Department of Homeland Security request. They're now waiting to hear back. CBS News is reviewing records related to the same daycares. All but 2 have active licenses. And Aaron, while the active places have violations related to safety or staff training, there's no recorded evidence of fraud specifically.
Okay, interesting. Connor, thank you so much. Well, another facility highlighted in the YouTube video was Quality Learning Center. The people operating it would not speak with us, but we did talk to a mother dropping off her kids.
I take my kids here, 2 o'clock to 10. Yeah, there's a lot of kids inside.
We spoke with another woman who says she owns the building that houses the daycare. She says they've been operating there since 2017. New tonight, this child care facility says it's dealing with the fallout of fraud allegations. The Nokomis Daycare Center in Minneapolis says vandals did extensive damage there overnight. They believe divisive and hateful rhetoric toward the Somali community is to blame. We expect to learn some more details tomorrow. Federal agents are conducting a, quote, massive operation in Minneapolis right now. The Department of Homeland
like checking, like, is this vape shop a fucking daycare center?
Posted these videos of agents going door to door at suspected fraud sites. The daycare investigation represents a new front in Minnesota's fraud fight. More than 50 people have been convicted so far in the $250 million COVID-era scheme involving Feeding Our Future. Prosecutors believe fraud in 14 state Medicaid service programs could total $9 billion. Updates to the fraud.
But that's weird to they believe this. I don't know. $9 billion. Medicaid's a huge program. $9 billion. I mean, it's a lot of money, and fraud is bad, but that's not like, if you consider the number of people getting Medicaid and stuff, I don't know. And some of the fraud is probably just people fucking, when they say fraud, a lot of times it turns out, like, especially like when we think about a different kind of fraud, people like to talk about voter fraud. It's like people who registered to vote in a state where like felons can't vote, and they didn't know that, maybe because they moved there from a state like California where felons can vote, and they count that as like voter fraud and stuff. So anyway, this is the Steve Bannon Show, and actually what we should do is just get rid of all of the immigrants, I guess.
No, you're white. I don't speak the language. They got to all be deported. They're a crime syndicate. We don't need to have a crime syndicate here in the United States. They all have to go. Mike Lindell.
You look at every single part. You look for deviation. If you can't figure out there's $9 billion missing, you're in the wrong business. And then
well, that's the thing with like fraud, like something like Medicaid. You're not looking at like a $9 billion hole, really. It doesn't really work that way. What the fuck is Mike Pillow doing?
The most transparent governor this country's ever seen. The people are going to know where the problems lie, and then we fix them.
Rosemary Jenks, this is why we're calling for a 10-year moratorium. No immigration. These immigration and refugee programs and amnesty programs and asylum programs are so corrupt, and now it's in your face. And you can't go through onesies, twosies. You need of course, the New York Times had this piece over the weekend, how horrible it would be if we were to actually implement moratoriums, not just getting rid of the H-1B visas, but moratoriums across the board on no immigration for a decade until we get this mess sorted out. Your thoughts, ma'am?
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. I mean, reading the New York Times, I think most Americans would say, yeah, okay, what's wrong with that? Nothing at all. The problem with all of this is that we have been importing people from cultures that don't have governments that give handouts. You know, in Somalia, you don't get a government handout for anything. The government's keeping any money that they get to enrich themselves. So if you import people from cultures that are not used to the government being benevolent and handing out money, of course they're going to come here and say, oh, the government's willing to give me money. How do I get more? And the, rule of law is not that important in other places as it is here, as we hope it is here. So, in Minnesota, every single person who signed one of those checks should go to jail. Every person who is in government who had any oversight over any of that should either be prosecuted or fired because they failed.
Wait, so if there was a fraud scheme happening or whatever, and you personally didn't catch it in your role as the person who administers the checks, you should go to jail? What kind of fucking bullshit is that? Like, the point of fraud, the reason that fraud happens is because it's done in a way that nobody detects it.
We are going to see that this is happening across the United States. It's going to be happening everywhere because we have created a system that incentivizes fraud, that encourages fraud, and that rewards fraud. And, we bring in the family members and the extended.
Well, fraud tends to be its own reward, at least short term, because you get money or other kinds of valuable products and services.
Of all these people who are committing the fraud, we naturalize.
I like how her fucking fake Zoom background is the border wall. Like, she's like hanging out at the border wall calling fucking Steve Bannon.
Citizens, we have, election integrity issues with non-citizens voting. Every part of our system needs to be torn down and rebuilt to stop this. And the first step in all of that is a moratorium to give us an opportunity to get our house in order, because clearly our house is not in order. And this isn't just $8 billion being thrown out the window. This is our money. This is the money that we worked our tails off all year long and paid the government in taxes, being tossed away so that these folks can get rich off us. It's disgusting.
This is, just like they created, remember, this is not chaos at all. Just like they set up the system and the southern border with the NGOs and government to drive and exacerbate a 15 to 20 million person individual invasion of our country. This is the next part.
Also calling like what a reasonable person might say, I think there was too much immigration. I would disagree with that person, but using the language, the invasion, using that language is just fucking, it's like unnecessary.
They get them on welfare with your money. This is how they get them to vote. This is how they keep the Democrats in office. You got a big article today in The Guardian about the Working Families Party is now going to go nationwide because it's built upon this. This scam is
the Working Families Party is going to go national, and it's a scam.
Put together. The machinery, every piece of the machinery is kind of works together. And that's why you need a 10-year moratorium. No immigration whatsoever for any reason.
What?
You've got to get to the bottom of this, to root this out and to take it apart and to make sure that
this country would crumble if we allowed zero immigration for a decade.
Citizens who work their ass off, right? The taxes they paid are actually going to things that they support, and to make sure these people are not coming in.
Well, no, the social contract necessarily will tell you that you are going to pay taxes, and some of the money will be spent on things that you don't support. And you have, you can vote for somebody else, and you could run for office, and things could escalate from there, I suppose. But that's sort of the social contract, if you believe in the social contract.
Jobs and for opportunities and resources. This is outrageous. This is just the tip of it. Every blue state, this is the racket. This is how they run. This is why do you think they're digging in so hard on ICE? Why do you think they're digging in so hard on sanctuary cities? Because this is the
well, it's blue cities. It's cities. It's cities. Blue city is redundant. People in cities are liberal. It's because, like, if you live in a city, you don't want the goon squad coming and fucking abducting your fucking neighbor, whether or not they have their papers. Because if you're just like, I live in Oakland, if you're just walking down the fucking street, it doesn't matter to you whether or not that person has their papers. What you want them to do is say what's up as they walk by you and otherwise mind their business. And that's the fucking social contract here.
They've built to perpetuate this radical neo-Marxist jihadist rule. Rosemary Jinks, this is why we can't do this incrementally. Oh, we're going to take this program. You got to get rid of H-1Bs today and ship them all home and give those jobs to American citizens, and then a 10-year moratorium on every other program. 10-year moratorium. That's how long it's going to take to take this thing back to the basics and reconstruct it. Rosemary Jinks.
You're absolutely right. And the only way we're going to get this done is if all of the American people stand up and tell their members of Congress, we're done. It's over. We're not doing this anymore. We are not paying taxes so that you can throw our money away. We need a moratorium. We need to build support for this. Congressman Chip Roy has introduced a moratorium bill that would stop every visa, legal immigration, temporary work.
Wait, a visa? It would stop. Does she know, like, you get like a travel visa? Like, if you're going to come here and like, you're going to go on like a long vacation, you could get like a travel visa. Does she not want people to get a travel visa? Like, what the fuck, dude?
All of it except for tourists.
Oh, except for tourists, of course, because doing all this shit is going to really make people want to come visit. You find out that if you're not an American citizen or whatever, even if you don't look like one and you're just walking down the street in Minneapolis or whatever, I'm not so sure that if you're from another country, you're going to be like, you know where we should go visit? Minneapolis. And that might, you may not, from being from another country, you may not be watching this, following this day by day. So if you're from another country, you're like, "Ooh, sweetie, let's go to London instead," no matter what American city you were about to visit.
it would go probably for more than 10 years, actually. But we need to build support for this. We need Americans to stand up. And, you know, the Immigration Accountability Project, my organization, needs your help to get this to happen. We need to build this support in Congress. We are working every day to do that, to educate members of Congress on the need for this, to keep this issue, the immigration issue, in front of their faces all the time. It is... We can't do it without your support, and Congress won't do it without your support.
Okay, we're going to have to drive this because you have Zelensky, who's stealing money right off the top with Yermak in your face, laughing at you.
Had to bring that in too.
Difference in degree, but not in kind, for what Zelensky and the guys in Ukraine have done with American taxpayer money and what the Somalians doing. They're sitting there laughing at you, talking about a Ukrainian prosperity plan. We're talking about a Gaza prosperity plan, right? Where $60 billion of the $300 billion has to be secured by American taxpayers. How about this? How about working men and women, the working class and middle class of this country? What about a prosperity plan for them? And it starts with stopping the criminal syndicates of these immigrants from coming in here. A 10-year moratorium. Nothing.
You know what helps working families is daycare, Steve Bannon, daycare. If they have kids, affordable daycare in a world where if you live in almost any major city in the United States and you're like earning a middle class income and you're in a relationship or you have a partner and you have kids, you both need a job. So that's one of the things that actually helps working families. I know that's insane to think about, and maybe our system is designed in a way that's tragically flawed, such that people need daycare, such that if people have a young child, that one parent can't stay home. I know that's, I think that should be an option for people, actually. I think in other countries it is. But, I guess that's the problem is the daycare, because daycare doesn't pay well, right? So it's going to be run by not going to be run by fucking rich white people. Maybe a rich white person will own a syndicate, let's say, of daycare centers, but they ain't there. They ain't there taking care of the kids, right? And so this is all fucked up. This is all fucked up. So we're going to go back to a little bit of news about Venezuela. This is from before actually the bombing of Venezuela and I'm going to call it the kidnapping. Maybe it was like a intervention, or like, how those cult people used to like kidnap your kids and deprogram them if they join the fucking like est or whatever. Anyway, so this is before all that. This is Emma Vigeland, who's been on CNN kind of a lot lately, talking to them about bombing the boats and striking a port facility in Venezuela.
And so the consequences that you're talking about are incredibly dire. But I also just want to step back for a second and look at the justifications that they're even using. They're saying that these are narco-terrorists, et cetera. And that's the Republican line. But then Trump comes out and goes, it's for the oil. I mean, when we did our illegal invasion of Iraq and killed hundreds of thousands of people there, at least the Bush administration had the humility to pretend and go to the United Nations and say, oh, we're going to do this through the regular channels. I mean, this brazen bully illegal administration doesn't even go through that pretense. And I think that should scare everybody, because their foreign policy is might makes right. And that's all that matters.
So I'm not scared. I don't think any American is scared about the consequences.
I care about the world, not just Americans.
No, I know, but you're also in this instance caring about a narco-terrorist group and government.
No evidence
that supports
provided.
Them. There's been no evidence showing that they're not actually drug boats that are being sent.
That's not how this works.
There's no evidence showing that you're not. Well, I mean, I guess okay, cool.
Know, as a matter of fact, that this is a country that very clearly does engage in narco-terrorism and is a hub for sending to this country cocaine, primarily meth, which is the second leading cause of drug overdose deaths, at least where I'm from.
Yeah, it's on the boats that can't make it to the United States. I love that. He was like, oh, there's no evidence that there isn't, but that doesn't work, right? You can't prove that. You generally can't prove a negative, right? That's why you're supposed to make the positive claim and provide your evidence for the positive claim. What is this guy talking about? Up next, don't worry, Laura Trump is on Fox News, and she has a different take on this. This is Fox and Friends, the high quality programming for your grandparents.
Sweet potato pie and I shut my mouth.
What the fuck?
Gone with the wind. There ain't no.
Is this song AI generated?
I think that's fitting. The Song of the South on this Texas Tuesday. I think that's right, going into the new year.
It looked a little warmer there than what's going on behind us. And I came from that to come sit here with you guys, so I don't know what I did wrong.
Thank you for that. We appreciate you being here. By the way, is this the day where you phase out Merry Christmas and phase in Happy New Year?
Oh,
that's a good question.
Oh, they're going to do the war. We didn't even do the war on Christmas this year.
December 30th-ish.
I've heard people going both ways.
Me
so, you know, I think Merry Christmas is fair game until the 1st. And then you got to go straight into New Year. Yeah, absolutely.
And I do like a week of Happy New Year, and that's the end of it.
Well, and
No, not just a week. I do it for the whole month.
Oh, wow.
Happy New Year.
Really?
Happy New
You're
Year.
getting into it. But here's the
You're
real
that
question.
guy. I am that guy.
When are you guys taking down the Christmas decorations?
Like literally, my family would do it the day after Christmas. I don't know what was going on in my house, my parents' house, the day after Christmas. We would all take down the day after Christmas. We took that shit down.
Once New Year's is here, you got to take it down.
January 2nd. They got to go.
Got to go.
Yep, wrap them up. That's
Like Christmas decorations are very heartwarming in December.
Right.
Into January, they're just depressing.
Yeah, I just stress out about putting them up because I know I got to take them down.
Yeah, it
So
happens.
we try not to get too
There's
crazy.
so much joy when you put the Christmas tree up. But when you're taking it down, it seems exhausting.
It's
'Cause
exhausting.
you don't want to break any of the ornaments.
Yeah.
It's
less magical.
It's a mess.
And the kids want to help, and that's always a fun time.
It's true. All right, man.
Oh God! Imagine being her and Eric Trump have kids. Imagine being one of the I hope those kids are okay, man. I hope those kids grow up to be like fucking normal.
News for you. President Trump issuing a stark warning to Hamas and Iran during a high-stakes meeting with Israel's prime minister.
It comes as the U.S. confirms it carried out a strike against a port in Venezuela, allegedly used as drug trafficking hub.
Yeah, a lot going on this morning. Madeline Rivera joins us live in Washington, D.C. with some of the details. Maddie?
Hi, good morning. The president first shared details about that strike during a radio interview last week. He was still short on the details when he was pressed about the incident yesterday, refusing to say whether it was carried out by the military or CIA. But he's been floating the possibility of land strikes in Venezuela for weeks.
If he wouldn't tell you if it was the military or the CIA, it was the fucking CIA.
There was a major explosion in the dock area where they load the boats up with drugs. They load the boats up with drugs. So we hit all the boats, and now we hit the area. It's the implementation area, and that's where they implement, and that is no longer around.
The incident marks another escalation in the administration's campaign against Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, whom they've accused of running an illegitimate regime. It comes as the president continues his tough talk against Hamas, one of the issues he and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu covered in their meeting yesterday.
Well, we talked about Hamas and we talked about disarmament, and they're going to be given a very short period of time to disarm. And we'll see how that works out. Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner.
Dude, if I was Hamas, I would not fucking disarm for a second.
Be in charge of that from our side. But if they don't disarm, as they agreed to do, they agreed to it, and then they'll be held to pay.
The president is also not ruling out more military action against Iran if it ramps up production of its ballistic missile program. It's a reassurance of his support for Israel. Netanyahu, in turn, praising Trump as he receives Israel's highest cultural award.
President Trump has broken so many conventions to the surprise of people, and then they figure out, oh, well, maybe, he was right after all. So we decided to break a convention too, or create a new one, and that is to award the Israel Prize, which in almost our 80 years, we've never awarded it to a non-Israeli. It's going to be awarded to President Donald J. Trump for his tremendous...
And everybody knows how to play Donald Trump. You either bribe him or give him some fucking award.
Israel and the Jewish people.
Iran, for their part, has already said any new aggression against it will be met by a decisive response. Back to you.
All right. Thanks so much, Maddie. It is interesting, the escalation that's happening in Venezuela. The president made a phone call with Maduro a few months back and pretty much gave him an option. A lot of reporting has suggested that he gave him an off-ramp to leave the country, let the duly elected...
Oh, he made him an offer he can't refuse.
Because the election there was totally stolen from the rightful people there. And he said, stop having these drugs that are there come to the United States. Stop the boats. And so now he has escalated from the strike on the boats now to the port. And many people are saying the next thing is other strikes on land, on the actual sites where the other drugs are being held.
Yeah, well, and this is what the American people voted for. I
don't know about this. I don't know. This is bullshit. Everybody, a lot of people were out there. Trump's not going to start any wars.
Security of our people, right? And you've heard about the war on drugs. I mean, this has been going on since Reagan, right? We talked about the war on drugs. This is the war on drugs in action. This president designated these.
Dude, I thought like sometime in the fucking late 90s or early 2000s, we figured out that we went to war with drugs and that drugs won.
These drug cartels and the gangs as foreign terrorist organizations. Sure. He designated fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction. And he said, don't bring it here. And if you dare try to bring it here, we're going to do
designed fentanyl. Hold on. Fentanyl is probably invented probably by a U.S. based drug company. I'm not sure, but I would guess.
Right there. And I think the American people, for the most part, are thrilled because fentanyl kills 100,000
like GlaxoSmithKline or somebody invented fentanyl like
a year. This president is not even allowing it onto our soil. And now he's saying before it even leaves the ports there in Venezuela, we're getting rid of it as well.
Well, he's certainly changing the incentive structure for these cartels, to say the very least. Although, Lawrence, you're just making a point, and I think what some Americans are wondering, and this is not a value judgment one way or the other, but is this ultimately about the drugs and the cartels, or is it about changing the illegitimate regime in Venezuela, or is it both? Right? Because
war. I'm learning from chat that Belgium, maybe. But anyway, Venezuela did not invent fucking fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction. It's a very powerful opiate, synthetic opiate, that is given primarily to people in hospitals to manage severe pain.
They are related and linked, but we're talking about two pretty dramatically different things there, right?
Well, I'm so sorry, Laura. I would also add a third thing. It's also controlling that part of the region as well. China's influence as well as Russia's influence when it comes to their relationship and the oil that is going in there. He's saying this is actually the Americas. I'm going to govern this aspect of, I'm going to control what's happening within the sea. So I think it's also...
Motherfucker is going to start World War III.
A strategic measure from the president as well.
Right, our hemisphere.
I would add a fourth thing, which is that every single country in the world watches what's going on down here. This is a message to our adversaries as well, directly from the president. Do not cross any red lines with President Donald Trump because there will be hell to pay.
Right. Take him for his word as well.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Brett Baier is going to have an exclusive interview with the Prime Minister of Israel, Netanyahu, on Special Report tonight. Last night.
So something like fentanyl, and I don't know for sure, but I would imagine it's probably a lot easier to get it, like to essentially steal it or whatever from medical facilities than it is to import it in mass. But also, it ain't coming in on a fucking boat from Venezuela. If it's being brought in, I keep talking about this, it comes in through the ports of entry. It's inside of teddy bears, it's inside of fucking lamps. It's hidden inside of legitimate cargo. This is how drugs get into this country. It always has been. Like, if you remember under George W. Bush, they were like, oh, there's all these drug mules. And one guy was like, they got, what is it? Calves the size of a cantaloupe from trafficking drugs in a backpack. I'm like, that sounds like a really dumb way to traffic drugs. Like, you're pretty limited on how much fucking dope you can get into the country on the backpack of somebody, no matter how big their calves are. So this doesn't work here. But what might work, what may happen, is I guess we're talking about Greenland again. I don't know why we can't just like not talk about Greenland. Like we could just, I don't know, leave them alone or something. They ain't done nothing to us.
Denmark, which controls Greenland, it's not doing its job and it's not being a good ally. So you have to ask yourself, how are we going to solve that problem, solve our own national security? If that means that we need to take more territorial interest in Greenland, that is what President Trump is going to do, because he doesn't care about what the Europeans scream at us. He cares about putting the interests of America's citizens first.
Yo, take a territorial interest in Greenland. That sounds like a fucking really interesting way to say invading a sovereign nation. But not for nothing, Greenland doesn't really have a history of being involved in fucking conflict. We don't really think of them as like a military fucking country or whatever. They're just Greenland. I don't even know what I think about that. I think it's beautiful, and I think the standard of living there is high, and I think the people that live there really like it, from what I understand. And I don't think they want America coming in and taking over. What the fuck? Like, why are we talking about this?
Look, no one knows that better than Louisiana. My family has been in Louisiana for over 300 years. We've lived under more flags than anyone living in the continental United States over the history of America. We ended up settling under the United States of America's flag, and for that, Louisiana has been...
Well, the people there didn't really get to decide. It was part of the Louisiana Purchase. They didn't be like, oh, I guess we'll do America. That's not how that worked. What are you talking about? Oh, we settled on America. No, you didn't.
The country has been so much better. But again, that's a discussion for us to have with the Greenlanders.
Well, you're not. There is no way. No matter who the fucking president is, to what extent a policy in America were to change, there's no way you're going to convince the people of Greenland that they should just be America. Because by the way, we wouldn't let them vote. Right? God, imagine. I mean, I know they don't have a lot of people, but okay, you're going to annex. Are you going to give them 2 senators? Oh, not going to do that. Not going to do that. That's Greenland, but that would be fucking blue land, friends. That'd be blue land. They'd be like, why are your liberals so conservative? Right? So up next, I don't know if you know this, the economy by Easter. It's going to be roaring, the economy by Easter. It's just, remember when everything was going to happen in 2 weeks? Now we're looking, 3.5 months out, something like that, close to 4 months out. The economy is going to be roaring.
And then two-thirds say that things are getting worse. This, to me, is a messaging issue. How do you continue to tell the American people, look, the big, beautiful bill is now law, and that is going to translate into 2026 for you?
There's only one path, Cheryl, and that's going to be in the pocketbook. I think the first and second quarter of 26 is going to show a lot. Remember, all those tax cuts have not been implemented yet in the great big beautiful bill. Interest rates were just cut. I just had a meeting with my brothers yesterday. All the prices in our grocery stores are dropping like a rock. Eggs are going all the way down to 99 cents. We see the beef market is dropping. We see sugar is dropping. We see all aspects of the grocery store prices are falling.
Did he say the beets market? Like everybody's like, oh, sweetie, we're fucked. Beets are expensive. I don't remember the last time I bought a beet. Sugar is dropping. Motherfucker, sugar is the same price as it's always been. You get a 5-pound bag of sugar and it's $3 fucking. 20 years ago, was it $2? Yes. But you get a 5-pound bag of sugar, it's $2.99. If you don't go to if you go to a cute grocery store like the Farmer Joe's around the corner from me, okay, it's $3.99. Like, what the fuck?
Gas prices in Trumbull County are at $2 a gallon. Once all this starts to happen and those tax breaks happen, and I think we're going to really see an economy, hopefully by Easter, that is roaring. And if you want to win this midterm and you want to keep the gavel, the answer 1,000% is going to be in the pocketbook. Mm-hmm. They understand what they keep.
They understand what they keep. Oh, this is so dumb. So the GDP is going up, but most of the analysis of it shows that the spending is on the higher end, right? Like wealthy, upper middle class, and above are spending like crazy because they just do or whatever. And but for middle class people and lower income people, spending is flat, or they have less money to spend, and so they're spending less. Or over the holidays, people rack up a bunch of credit card debt. I managed to come out of the holidays and my birthday up. I spent some money, but I mean, all things considered, I came out ahead. But that's just because a bunch of people gave me money for my fucking birthday and stuff, like a bunch of fucking maniacs or the fucking saints or whatever. Anyway, here's Dan Crenshaw. He's going to talk about the, I guess it's the GOP's healthcare plan or something that's supposed to be coming out. I keep hearing about this healthcare plan. So here's about the healthcare plan.
Your America, your premiums are not going up because these tax credits are expiring. They affect
literally your premiums. That literally your out of pocket goes up when the government stops backstopping part of your health insurance.
And to the extent that they even affect them, you're talking about 4% of the actual increase. So
No. Okay, so this is bullshit. If it does represent 4% of the healthcare market, right? But a lot of people aren't on the exchanges. A lot of people get their healthcare through their employer. For like when I had a business, we provided people with healthcare up until we couldn't. That's another story for another day. But for example, I'm not on the exchanges. The county I live in has a healthcare plan that is backstopped by Medicaid or something. I don't know. I just know that I didn't have to go on the exchanges because the county I'm in provides healthcare. So, or it doesn't provide it. I mean, I have to pay for it. But like that's because most people aren't on the exchanges, but a lot of people are on the exchanges. And so this is dishonest. It's just incorrect. The subsidies do represent something between 3 and 5% of the entire health insurance market, but that's not really telling the picture here.
let's make that fact very, very clear for people as Democrats lie to the American people about what these temporary premium tax credits were. They were COVID related. They go straight to insurance companies. They don't go to you, the patient. Mike is right that we need a deal or a shutdown. I can only speak for how I want that deal to go and what I've been working on. You can say it very succinctly. Fundamentally, the ACA, Obamacare, pushes subsidies, taxpayer money, into the insurance companies' pockets.
Right.
And then it says to the insurance companies, hey, remove all the price transparency that you would normally have in a market and just tell people that it's free.
Wait, what? No, but but this is stupid. It's not free. There are very few people who via the exchanges through the ACA are getting free health insurance. It's very few. Even people with very low incomes, they pay something.
It's like giving like giving a grocery store subsidies and telling them to remove all the prices and just give food away to the poor. No,
that sounds good. What? That sounds great. I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know. People would fucking defraud that, I'm sure, but that sounds good actually.
No, you give the poor vouchers, and so we want to put that money into health savings accounts. Use existing mechanisms and actually put the money and the power back into the patient's hands. That's the fundamentals of a deal that needs to be made.
There's so much work to be done. A congressman, we're going to be.
So this is dumb though, because like, let's say the subsidy's $500 and it reduces your healthcare expenses $500. There's functionally no difference between just giving that $500 to the insurance company or giving it to you. Assuming the insurance company is going to charge the same either way, right? So I don't know. Let's say, we'll use imaginary numbers here. Let's say it's $2,000. It's not $2,000 for a year for anybody, but let's say it's $2,000. Then, so you give me $500 and it's $1,500. Or you give the insurance company $500 and then they take $500 off my premium. That's $1,500. I'm still paying $1,500. It's fucking mind-expandingly stupid. So up next, we got Dr. Oz on Newsmax talking about the flu vaccine, which I always get my flu vaccine news from fucking grifters.
So what's going on here?
Well, flu is always a problem. Every year there's a flu vaccine. It doesn't always work very well. That's why it's been controversial of late. But like many illnesses, the best news out there is if you can take care of yourself so that when you do end up running into the flu, you can overwhelm it. As much as it's trying to overwhelm you, you do better. So things like getting sunlight, and if you can't do that in northern parts of the country, which is tough this time.
Oh, yeah, northern parts of the country where you still get vitamin D on a cloudy day. What is this guy talking about? Like what if you go outside and the clouds you still get vitamin D.
Take some vitamin D. Zinc seems to be effective as a basic supplement. But fundamentally, the MAHA initiatives, eat the right food that came out of the ground looking the way it looks when you eat it and consume it, and getting physical activity actually makes sense. But the most important tool of all is sleep. It is the main way we generate growth hormone, gets our immune system psyched up. So if you can get your sleep in this,
you don't really want your immune system psyched up. There are diseases that are like your immune system gets a little too psyched.
Year, which can be tough because during the holiday season, folks go to work, they go party, they have fun with their families, they deal with all the mishigas that surrounds all those three issues, and they get worn down. It tends to set you up for a bad flu.
It's the Michigan.
So this is like on the surface, right? This isn't bad advice. Like you should try to eat right, you should exercise, you should fucking go outside, all that stuff. Yeah, absolutely. But this is like, this doesn't really have anything to do with the fucking flu vaccine. The flu, if there's a fucking strain of flu going around that's killing a bunch of people, it kind of doesn't care. Like if you're fucking looks maxing or fucking health maxing or whatever it is, it might very well just kill you anyway. Up next, this segment, we're going to call this Feels Over Reels at CBS Evening News since Barry Weiss took over.
A lot has changed since the first person sat in this chair, but for me, the biggest difference is people do not trust us like they used to. And it's not just us, it's all—
Wait, no, but before Barry Weiss went to CBS News, people generally trusted like programs like 60 Minutes to do pretty good investigative journalism. I don't know what this guy's talking about.
Legacy media. And I get it. I get it because I've been hearing about it from just about everybody for more than 20 years as I've traveled America on this assignment or that. My mom—
By traveled America, he means like San Francisco, Los Angeles, possibly a New Orleans for Mardi Gras, right? Travel in America. This guy's gone to like all the places I'd go on vacation, right? This guy's like trying to pretend to be something he's not, for sure.
In West Virginia, my own neighbors in New York City, thousands and thousands of conversations in between. Sometimes people want to talk to me about our coverage of NAFTA or the Iraq War. Other times it's all about Hillary Clinton's emails or Russiagate. Or more recently, COVID lockdowns, Hunter Biden's laptop, or the president's fitness for office. The point is, on too many stories, the press has missed the story because we've taken into account the perspective of advocates and not the average American. Or we put too much weight in the analysis of academics or elites.
Okay, so we put too much emphasis on academics. Okay, so a lot of academics are barely able to pay their fucking rent. So he's like, we shouldn't ask experts about things.
And not enough on you. And I know this because at certain points—
But this is insane. When we're looking into things like what the thing that he's erroneously calling a COVID lockdown, maybe the average viewer doesn't have all the information.
I have been you. I have felt this way too. I felt like what I was seeing and hearing on the news didn't reflect what I was seeing and hearing in my own life, and that the most urgent questions simply weren't being asked. So here's my promise to you today and every time.
From now on, we're just going to comb a Facebook group and find the craziest responses and see if maybe we can report those as fact.
See me in this chair. You come first, not advertisers, not politicians, not corporate interests. And yes, that does include the corporate owners of CBS. I report for you.
But the CBS just got sold and they installed like a well-known fucking fraud and hack, and now you're changing your programming. I'm sorry, I'm not buying this.
Oh, when I know it and how I know it. And when I get it wrong, I'll tell you that too. It also means I'm going to talk to everybody and hold everyone in public life to the very same standard. After all, I became a journalist to talk to people. I love talking to people about what works in this country, what doesn't, and not only what should change, but the good ideas that should never change.
Wait, what good ideas are those?
I think telling the truth is one of them.
Oh, okay.
I'm Tony DeCopel, the anchor of the CBS Evening News. Hold me to it.
Motherfucker. Oh, we're not going to really consult with academics. We're just going to what do you think, audience? What does the random person think about this highly specific scientific or public health issue? So we're pretty late in the docket, but we do have our first palate cleanser of the year of 2026. We don't always get one, but I found one, so we're gonna do it. And of course, it's cats. This is this is cats. Get him, little kitty. Get him. There's no sound on this? I guess not. I'm rooting for the kitten. I think that's the mom cat. The mom cat does not care. Not interested. So that was our first palate cleanser of the year. I hope everybody enjoyed that. Up next, we got, so here's the California governor candidate, Sheriff Chad Bianco. He's like the leading Republican, I suppose, so he's like going to be the Republican who doesn't make the runoff, who gets the most votes. He used to be woke, though, and he learned not to be woke.
Never did. Sir, I got to do this because I had a caller call and ask about this. They love you. They love a conservative. They did point out something I didn't know, and I just would, I think you're going to have to answer this. Maybe if it's not from me, it's going to be from someone else. 2020, they said you, during the George Floyd issue, moment, summer of whatever the hell it was, love, that you...
This guy couldn't, he was like, don't say the N-word, don't say the N-word, don't say the N-word.
Stood with Black Lives Matter and actually knelt. Can you tell us what happened there?
Yeah, absolutely. So everybody has to realize that there is absolutely nothing in my life, in my past, that I've said or done that would indicate anything of this. I've evolved over the last probably 7 years as one of the nation's leading law enforcement leaders in the nation, definitely in our state and my county. 100%.
Oh, dude. Oh, no. Oh, man. People are afraid of Oakland. Oh, dude. Don't go to Riverside County. Oh, man. You were gonna meet a lot of people, and not many of them will have slept in the last 24 hours.
Enforcement leader of this county. That could never happen if I knelt to a domestic terrorist organization that hate cops. So what we're seeing now is political theater. We're seeing the political nonsense that always happens when...
Wait, aren't you admitting to doing a political theater? If he's saying you didn't believe it or whatever, then he was doing political theater.
To bring down someone else because of truly what they have to offer everyone. The reality of that time in our country was I was the first law enforcement leader that actually stood up to BLM, and we eliminated from our city, we eliminated 10,000 of them from our city within an hour, and no one reported any injuries. We suffered no injuries from law enforcement. It was an overwhelming show of force that we removed them from our city. And here's the...
So you denied their right to protest.
They have never come back. But just to address your question now, with all of that said, because there are some of my opponents in this race want you to see a either very short clipping of a video or a snapshot picture that they're sending around that truly takes everything out of context of what exactly it was. We had ordered them. I gave them the order personally, gave them the order that they had 20 minutes to vacate the street or we would forcibly remove them. When that happened, one of the leaders of that organization, that's who I was talking to, he asked me if he could pray for my deputies, and he asked me if I would pray with him. I said,
"Oh, get the whole fuck out of here."
He asked other people around him to pray. He asked if deputies could pray. Some of them did, some of them didn't. And that's what happened. He actually prayed for the safety of my deputies, and then they dispersed. But all you see is a picture, a snapshot picture of a camera, and you see selected, edited version, maybe not edited, but very cut.
Selected, edited. Yeah, a photograph. I mean, you can edit a photograph, but
It's a typical liberal or an opponent lack of context.
It's not his liberal opponents going after him on this.
Take a clip. Don't show the context. Listen, I accept that. I accept that. I wish it didn't happen, to be honest with you. But I still believe you are the right person for that job. And look,
this guy's going to get clobbered in the election.
It was a mistake or not. People have a right to fix their mistakes, so to speak. And I'm going to leave that at you. But a guy with 32 years experience as a sheriff doing all the right things with the right answers about the things that matter, the economy, et cetera, oil, taxes. Sheriff, we wish you very much luck, and we will continue to talk to you.
So if in a moment of empathy for the black community, this guy, a right-wing guy, took a knee because like somebody had kind of convinced him, he's like, hey, there's a lot of problems with policing in the black community. This guy maybe had a moment of empathy, although I don't know. Maybe he had mentioned political theater. Maybe he was doing political theater, I don't know what he was trying to do, whatever. But let's give him the benefit of the doubt here and say, and then in a rare moment of empathy for this guy, he said, you know what, actually, it is kind of fucked up the way that some of my colleagues treat black people. And he took a knee to show solidarity with people who have been mistreated by the police. Okay. I believe that that's what happened. I don't know if it was, a moment of empathy or whatever. It was maybe politically calculated or whatever. Maybe he was doing it in hopes that it would help disperse the people, get them out of the street. Who fucking knows? But he did it. And he didn't do it because it was a prayer. Because he was taking the one knee. When you get on your knees to pray, you get on both of them. So this is bullshit. He's just lying. He can't even just own that he fucked up. I don't think he fucked up. But what I'm saying is, like, in his world, he made a mistake, and he can't even just own that he made a mistake. Anyway, I don't know who this guy is, but Trump seems to be losing like the bro podcaster kind of people. Here's an example. Look how many energy drinks this motherfucker has on the fucking table. Oh my God. This guy's going to be able to see sound by the end of his fucking show.
I'm going to say this right now, and I mean this. Okay. Donald Trump, you've lost touch with your fucking base. You've lost touch with reality of what people actually want to see. And the people around you are either not telling you the truth or you're fucking in on it. And if you're not in on it,
in on what?
For you and I to have a discussion so I can inform you about what these people really want. Okay. So this can go on Twitter and, you can have your people call me and I will get my fucking happy ass on an airplane and I'll sit down and enjoy a motherfucking Big Mac with you.
Oh, he's trying to get invited to Mar-a-Lago.
And we will fucking get real clear about what people actually want. Because the motherfuckers around you are either full of shit or you're in on it.
Yeah.
And that's
in on what?
Right now. Okay. And here's the thing.
A lot of people believe that.
Yes. And here's the thing. Okay. I said on last show, you're going to go down as the president who had the opportunity to fix this country and chose not to. And you might say, oh, well, that doesn't really fucking matter. Well, you know what? It's going to matter because your kids are going to get blackballed in America. Okay. Your legacy is going to be ruined. The Trump name will be a fucking joke. And I know you care about those things.
Yeah.
And you should. And I truly believe that deep down, he still cares about America. He needs to understand, and I stand by what I said on the last show, everybody who voted for him, everybody who stood for him, everybody who stood by him, you guys need to fucking put pressure on him.
Yeah.
Real talk. So, and it needs to be unrelenting pressure to do the things that he said he was going to do.
Fucking broadcasters. They can't just be like, oh, fuck, this guy's an idiot. And he's fucking going back on all the things that have fucking I told people. The problem here is these people all told people to vote for Donald Trump, saying that he'd fucking release the Epstein files, that he wouldn't fucking take us into war, like supposedly Kamala was going to do, all this stuff. And he just did the opposite of what all these people fucking told their audiences he was going to do. And instead of just being like, oh, fucking this guy's a liar, and I told you to go vote for him, and it turns out that he's a liar. They're like, oh, there's a deep state cabal, a plot. It's a plot. Is he in on the plot? I don't know, but there's a plot. There's a conspiracy happening. It's like, oh man, these people are fucking suckers. Say what you will about fucking Marjorie the Taylor Greene. She's not a good person or whatever, but I think she knows that she's been had. But some of these podcaster bros they just can't even admit that they've been had. Up next, everybody, happy Jesus a New Year, I suppose. Does anybody remember at the Clay Clark, the Reawaken America thing, where they'd all go up there and blow their fucking shofars before a bunch of their fucking presenters gave you like versions of the Great Replacement Theory? Speaking of New Year and Jesus, this is a great story.
This is WLWT News 5, leading the way.
Kentucky health officials working to get the word out about possible measles exposure in northern Kentucky. Thank you for joining us tonight at 6. I'm Megan Mitchell.
And I'm Chris Jacobs. NKY Health tell us an unvaccinated child from out of state visited the Ark Encounter and stayed a few days at a nearby hotel. WLWT News 5's Danielle Dindak is live at the Ark Encounter. And Danielle, do we know how
live at the Ark Encounter? Look at that fucking empty ass parking lot.
Yeah, Chris, so I did find out that on Monday, officials say somewhere between 8 to over 1,000 people were here. Now, the issues with measles is that it's highly contagious.
When I hear measles exposure, I think about how measles is the most contagious infection that we know of to date.
The epicenter of that alert, Grant County, with a focus on one of the busiest tourist destinations in the state. According to NKY Health, on Monday, an unvaccinated child from out of state visited the Ark Encounter and has been diagnosed with measles.
You know, anywhere between 800 and a couple thousand people who were there on the 29th. So we're trying to reach out to all those people and let them know. And that's a lot of people. So a lot of is a potential.
And that's got to be a tough job. The Northern Kentucky Health Department guy.
You know, really widespread. Passing along of the disease.
On top of visiting the Ark, the child and their family stayed at the Holiday Inn Express in Dry Ridge from December 28th to the 30th. Doctors say people might not see or feel symptoms for weeks.
The incubation period between the exposure and when they develop symptoms, most commonly it's 11 or 12 days, but it could be up to 21 days.
Not only is measles highly contagious, but health experts say it can stay airborne for up to 2 hours.
So if this family maybe, sat down at a table to get something to eat and, they were talking or, the child coughed or something like that, they may have gotten up and left, and the next family that came in and used that table may not have had direct contact with them, but they still were exposed to the disease.
The best way to protect yourself or the ones you love against measles, doctors suggest to get the MMR vaccine.
20% of the people who actually get measles end up in the hospital because it can advance to other issues like pneumonia or like encephalitis. It can cause hearing problems and respiratory problems they have to carry with them the rest of their life.
Now, the Ark Encounter did release a statement that does read in part, "We pray that the child affected is doing well. We have not heard of reports that other guests have contracted measles." Now, they did go on to add if they...
To be fair, like half of the people that go to that thing don't believe in the measles.
Any of the emails of the guests that were here on Monday, they have been contacted about this situation. We have much more information about this right now over on our website, WLWT.com. Reporting live in Grant County, Kentucky, Danielle Dindak, WLWT News 5.
All right, Danielle, thank you so much.
Of course, the fucking the Ark Encounter is a place where fucking somebody might get measles. Yeah, tell all these fucking Christian freaks that vaccines are from the devil or whatever, and you make your bed. Now you gotta sleep in it. We got one more clip. I added it late, right before the show, and everybody, there is there's a new Chad, I suppose. This is some kind of weird. I don't know what's going on with this video. This is. I guess the new 2026 Chad just dropped. Like, what is this? Like, what in the world is going on with Homeboy's cheeks? Like, what is happening here? Anyway, that's the podcast part of the show. As we were ending the podcast part of the show, we did get raided by Justin Freakin'. Welcome in, Raiders. If you're watching live, as always, kick back for a minute, and we're going to take a quick break. I'm going to change the color of the lights in this room, grab myself alcohol beverage. And if you're listening on the podcast, obviously, you don't get to keep coming with us because you're not listening live, but you can get the entire live show, including Red Light at eplex.store, patreon.com/echoplex. So as always, this is Periscope. The song is called Boomers, and we'll be back with Red Light. I only have a few Red Light things on the docket, but they're all Alex Jones and they're all fucking insane. So be right back.